joining me today, Tommy and Jeremy. I'm Chris. Let's get straight to the news. First off, PS3 cover for NCAA Football 11 featuring Tim Tebow has been released. We had a version come out yesterday. There was a slight error with it. The updated version is out now, and according to the first press release of the year, we learned that Tebow will be uniquely featured on each cover of the game, so we're expecting that the 360 and PS2 versions will be different compared to the PS3 version. 8 new screenshots came out yesterday of the game. They featured Texas versus Alabama, a rematch of last year's national championship game. Also yesterday, a highly discussed video came out. They call it the B-roll video. Typically, this comes out in the middle of the release or marketing season and usually gets buried or straight out ignored. This time, not a wise decision as it was the first video that the community has had of the game. It has since been pulled, leading to some discussion of maybe this wasn't meant to be posted ever. For the three of us, we were at the community event. To me, it looked like, granted, there were some updates from 11, including the gear, including some animations, but to me, it seemed like it just was a really out-of-date video, and we're not going to talk about this too long. It's been beaten like a dead horse. The video's been pulled, as I said. I'm guessing this is something that probably wasn't meant to be seen, and we'll probably get real gameplay videos very soon with this being a draft week. Real quickly, in a sentence or two, first off, Tommy, what did you think of this unique video that came out?
In my opinion, the video didn't do any justice to the game itself. I mean, it showed, basically what it showed was a bunch of animations, not locomotion, not really anything like that, but just a bunch of animations, most of which we had seen in NCAA Football 10. So, I mean, the video, in my opinion, served no purpose, and I wish they hadn't put it out, but I'm glad that they did ultimately remove it.
Jeremy.
I believe the video that was posted, it had to have been accidental, especially with it being pulled as quickly as it did. It definitely is not an accurate representation of what we saw at Community Day. So I would just basically pass that off as just forgetting it ever happened, I think.
And it's one of those things where it really hurts because it was the only look that the community's had so far at the game. So accident or by design, poor decision, it's been pulled. But come July 13th, it's going to be the ultimate final feature list and gameplay videos that'll make people decide if they want to buy the game or not this B-roll video that is usually forgotten or ignored. If you're looking for real information on the game, GameSpot has said that this Friday they will have their first preview of NCAA Football 11. So mark your calendars. Check GameSpot on Friday. They should have a pretty good look at the game. Maybe not every feature. I'm sure some features will be embargoed, but it'll probably give a pretty good look for everyone waiting for their first glimpse of the game. Speaking of GameSpot today, they had a Madden NFL 11 preview of the dual stick controls. We talked about this on our podcast that was devoted to locomotion. Talks about the lean and twist, talks about the different moves, the truck, how it works. If you want to check it out, head over to GameSpot.com or go to the Madden NFL 11 subforum at NCAAstrategies.com. Before we get to the main new feature that we can talk about in relatively clear detail, another mascot announced. It's Kansas's mascot. They call him Jay. Technically, it's Big J, not just Jay, but oh well. The big feature that we're going to talk about this week, it was from a blog by designer Greg Heddleston. ESPN Integration coming to NCAA Football 11. We were able to see this down at the community event. Some of it's still a work in progress, but let's talk about what ESPN Integration entails in the game. It starts off with updated in-game user interface such as the game clock. If you watched the bowl season last year, this is when they debuted it, and they brought it over to other sports as well on ESPN. Tommy, what do you think of this game clock and how it looks not only in ESPN but also in the game?
Down at Community Day, it kind of caught me off guard just because I didn't recall seeing it in bowl games. I mean, I know that they had it in some bowl games and it was specifically used on Monday Night Football, but it kind of caught me off guard just because that's not what I was used to. So once I saw it in game and I saw that it was ESPN, it kind of threw me for a loop there for a little bit. One of the things that we talked to them about at Community Day, and we're hoping that they've adjusted, is the addition of showing what yardage line you're on, things like that, down in the bar itself. The screenshot that they included in the blog didn't show it, but it's something that we were hoping that they would get addressed before the actual game is released.
The game also has new banners to match the ESPN style with data like home down info for impact and injured players. They also have special banners for certain types of players. Jeremy, what did you think of the visual effect that these new banners, such as drive summary and yardage updates for players, how that looked in the game?
Oh, I think it's an accurate representation of what you see in the Monday Night Football broadcast. It's kind of what they kind of borrowed from a little bit, and then when the bowl season started using it. It's definitely an accurate representation of what you can see. Something we do not quite know yet is when these pop up, if it's just going to be after a certain amount of time or if it's going to be at more of a random place in the game. Those are still yet to be seen, but we've definitely given them feedback that we would like to see those things happen with these banners.
In Greg's blog, he also talks about what are called the replay wipes with ESPN logo that comes into the screens to start the replays, and also outro wipes as you go back to the field. He says that it's a fully animated 3D animation, and it's not just a video playback over the screen. Probably for people who are really into the technical aspect, they'll appreciate it more, but it makes it look a little more part of the game and not just a add-on. In the blog, we also learn about the monolith. As Greg says, it's their take on the broadcast bumper you see before every game with the College Football Shield logo. It's rendered in real time, helps them kick off the broadcast, and comes with the ESPN College Football theme, help get you in the mood, make you feel like you're watching ESPN College Football. There's some other changes in there. You'll see that in the blog. But let's wrap up the show here. First off, Tommy, kind of your final thoughts so far on what we were able to see with this at the community event.
It's a good start on what a lot of people are wanting from the ESPN integration. It includes definitely the scoreboard bar, which is obviously the easiest thing to do, and it includes the replay wipes, stuff like that. Still some more stuff they could have done, but they've definitely gotten off on the right foot and given us a lot of what we do want. So, gives them chance for years to come to actually build further upon it.
Yeah, in regards to this year alone, we were in there early enough to where we were able to kind of take a look at find some actual screenshots from some of the bowl games this year, kind of do a little compare and contrast with what was in the game, and we've actually were able to give them some feedback on things to add. And hopefully with some of the gameplay videos that'll come out in the next couple of months, especially around E3, we'll get a full final view of what all these ESPN presentations are going to look like.
And that'll wrap up our discussion on ESPN integration coming to NCAA Football 11, something people have asked for a long time. They were getting it in there, and they've left themselves a really, really solid base to build on this in years to come. So before we end the show, let's end it the way we always do. Tommy, as of April 21st, 2010, how many days are we away from the release of NCAA Football 11?
As of April 21st, we now have 83 days remaining. Still a lot of time for a lot of new information to come out, so keep your eyes peeled and your ears open.
Yeah, we're going to be coming up here. The NFL draft is going to be tomorrow. Most likely we're going to probably get a little bit little new taste of some things for the game. And, of course, E3 is only about 2 months away as well. So, we're going to definitely get a good base of what we're going to get for NCAA 11 here in the next 60 days.
And don't forget, this Friday will be GameSpot's first preview of NCAA Football 11. Make sure to check that out, and we'll also have it linked over to ncaastrategies.com, and we'll probably talk about it in next week's podcast. For Jeremy, for Tommy, I'm Chris. Everyone, thank you for listening to this edition of Utopia Podcast.